The conference has embarked on a comprehensive program aimed at relieving much of the suffering of both church members and non-members alike. During the quadrennium, the conference spent $25 million on welfare and community service. 70 persons received financial assistance to start businesses, 50 colporteurs got help to buy books, 10 one-room houses were built and 6 homes repaired. Acting on the recommendation of delegates at the last conference session, Central Jamaica started a counseling service spearheaded by Elder Anthony Gordon. About 90% of those seeking help were assisted. It's no secret that some sections of the island have been torn apart by violence. For those living in such communities, the physical and psychological scars can be brutal. As a result, the conference joined with the Central Village District in its Mission of Hope program. Mission of Hope took the church into war-torn communities such as Gravel Heights, Big Lane, and Little Lane in Central Village. Communities in Sydenham and its environs were also assisted, and the conference gave out several food packages, 1,000 Bibles and other religious material, in an initiative spearheaded by prayer coordinator Pastor Levi Johnson. Central Jamaica Conference also joined with the World Church in the Follow the Bible program. During that initiative, over 5,000 Bibles were distributed across the conference. As the church marched forward to share the everlasting gospel, the communications department continued to air a number of radio programs: Morning Manna, Lifeline, and Heralds of Hope. Communication Director Kemar Douglas turned the spotlight on issues of health and lifestyle and also increased the number of social platforms such as Facebook to share the Word of God. While communication moved to share the gospel via radio and the World Wide Web, the health and youth departments mobilized professionals to hold health clinics, health emphasis days, and drug awareness marches. The Spanish Town Infirmary was refurbished by the youth of Central Jamaica in collaboration with their peers in the Greater New York Conference, while other youth outreach programs were conducted in Comfort Hall, Manchester, Gimme Me Bit in Clarendon, and Spanish Town and Springvale in St. Catherine. Over the period, the Hiram S. Walters Health Center in Sydenham attended to well over 20,000 persons. Conference President Everett Brown invites you to salute the workers for the service of sacrifice to the church and the nation. During the last conference session, a number of recommendations were made to the new administration. Budgetary constraints have hindered the implementation of some recommendations, but a number of them have been achieved. Among these are the following: establishing a presence in 2 previously unentered areas in Clarendon, namely Osborne Store and Alston. The establishment of an education fund. 3 new pastoral districts have been formed: the Spiritual District, the Comfort Hall and Newport districts, as the conference stepped up its drive to make pastoral districts more manageable and efficient. Today, there are 44 pastoral districts in the conference. Disaster relief centers have also been established across the conference. Should a disaster occur, the people of Clarendon and Manchester will be served by the centers at the Maypen and Mandeville churches, and the people of St. Catherine will be served from the conference office. Plans are being made to establish a center in the Bogwalk area. The Camp Verley site, which has served the church for a number of years, has received a boost. Under the chairmanship of Elder Roderick Ebanks, the conference committee developed a master plan for the Camp Verley property. A perimeter wall was constructed and fencing erected. The landscaping and beautification of the site continues, and the construction of the first floor of a house for the site is completed. The construction of the house began some time ago with seed funding from the late Bancroft Thomas, whose dream it was to have a comfortable place in which to accommodate invited guests. Meanwhile, another new dimension has been added to the property, which has served the church so well over the years. Under the leadership of Pastor Levi Johnson, who was appointed prayer ministry coordinator, the idea for a prayer trail was born. Delegates, you're invited not merely to view the trail, but to experience once again the infinite love, mercy, and grace of God, so completely expressed in His sacrifice on the cross. The work of Pastor Johnson did not just end with the prayer trail, but served as the catalyst for many other prayer initiatives. An army of intercessors was sent into the fields to intercede on behalf of educational, civic, political, and spiritual leaders. They formed a daily prayer chain around pastors, leaders, school principals, teachers, and administrators of institutions across the territory. Since then, the prayer sessions have been numerous. 2 major prayer conferences have been held and 4 prayer leaders network services established. Prayer emphasis days are now regular features, and already 2 separate sessions, a 50-day and a 21-day prayer and fasting session, have been held. The conference also hosted a prayer breakfast. 2 consultations for prayer coordinators, along with a prayer clinic and a men's day of prayer, were also spearheaded by the conference. A number of prayer walks have also been held in volatile communities. Much has been accomplished over the last 4 years, yet there's so much more still to be done. But we need not fear, unless we have forgotten how God has led us in the past. As time moves closer to eternity, the President's wish for his conference and his people are that we continue to proclaim God's grace as we prepare to meet the Master when he comes.
Delegates, this rather concise report is just a summary of the work done in the Central Jamaica Conference between July 2006 and July 2010. Guided by our strategic plan and the recommendations made by the delegation at our last Quadrennial Session, we endeavored, by the grace of God, to achieve those objectives and to place the conference on a path of growth, while remaining relevant to the times in which we live. Our success was due to the tremendous cooperation that we received from our members and a united and committed team of workers in this conference. God, in his divine providence, chose to use us as conduits of his love, grace, and blessings in fulfilling his mission in this conference. God and God alone made it possible. Let me at the same time express gratitude to my fellow colleagues in administration, Pastor Levi Johnson and Elder Billy Watson, for their wise counsel and support. To the directors, a big thank you for your encouragement and hard work. To the members of the Conference Executive Committee, my sincere thanks for your guidance as we worked together to achieve the goals of the conference. A special thank you to Mrs. Claudette Grant, Administrative Assistant to the President, for the hard work and professionalism you displayed in executing your duties. You have been an outstanding ambassador for God and this conference. To all our workers, including our pastors, teachers, principals, accountants, administrative assistants, members of the support staff, Bible workers, colporteurs, cashiers, nurses, and auditors, I expressed my gratitude for your invaluable contribution to the work in this conference. To the officers and workers of the West Indies Union, thanks for your support and advice during the quadrennium. To all our stakeholders and faithful members, we express gratitude for your unreserved support and encouragement, prayers in achieving the mission of the church. To my wife Lana and our boys Jonathan and Matthew, I say a big thank you for the sacrifices you have made, the prayers you have prayed. Thank you for your love, your understanding, and for being there for me as a family. I love you dearly. The report clearly indicates that not all of our stated goals and objectives were realized. Perhaps we could have done some things differently, and we might have achieved much more in leading people to Christ. In spite of the failures and setbacks of the past 4 years, however, God has been faithful to us. God has blessed His church, and God has used us to lead His people on the path to ultimate victory in Jesus. Let us therefore resolve in our hearts that by the grace and indwelling Spirit of God, we will remain faithful to Him and His mission of hope. Let us unite together as redeemed children of God in proclaiming His grace until He comes. I invite you, our delegates, if you have not done so already, to read the more detailed reports as presented by each department. There you will see the bigger picture of the work done over the period. God has brought us over the many financial and social hurdles that the enemy placed in our path. He has carried us across many seas of economic uncertainties so that at this, our third quadrennial session, we can present a report of our stewardship to you. God bless you, and I thank you.